Hey, folks. So I train a group of coaches that works for Goodwill Industry, and we had our training this morning. We meet monthly, and our training this morning was about levels of accountability. And we were talking about it for ourselves and working with other people, identifying fear. So when we decide to make a change, or really when we find ourselves in any circumstance, and we notice that fear is present. Now, sometimes that's tricky. So, we've been talking about that for like 3 sessions, but I'm going to skip ahead here. So, assume that we know that we've identified that fear is present, and there are various ways to do that. How do we shift out of that? How do we take accountability for this is the situation that I'm in, and I want it to be different. I don't just want to have an automatic reaction every time. I want things to change. And so this is a tool that I love that I've been teaching forever. I first learned it at Community Health Network when I was doing trainings, and they got it from Bend Health in Oregon. And then I learned it from Courtney Smith and Elise Lunan in a retreat that I was at, and it came from Conscious Leadership Academy. So lots of people have been using it. I did not invent this, but it's super instructive. And as we were going over it and I was explaining it, which I'm going to do in a minute to you, um, we were talking about it in reference to ourselves because we have to understand it ourselves first, right? And use the tool ourselves before we can use the tool with other people. So I was explaining it, and one of the coaches said, this is so helpful for framing the situation right now that's going on in our country. And so we started to talk about that, like how we're all feeling about what's happening right now, and how this tool is really helpful to get ourselves more grounded and centered. And so I thought that was a great point, and I wanted to share it with you because you may be struggling with what's going on in our country right now and where to land, just not in anxiety. So let's talk about it. Okay, I'm going to share my screen and I will walk you through it. Okay, so here we are. Levels of accountability. So there's a lot on this screen. I'm going to talk you through the whole thing. So you see that line in the middle? This is personal accountability. And we're going to talk about not having personal accountability, which is below that center line. And we're going to talk about taking personal accountability, which is above the center line. No matter what is happening, we might not have control over lots of circumstances in our life, right? Things happen that are outside of our control that we really honestly could not have had an impact on. Bad things happen to good people. Circumstances pop up all the time. Doesn't matter. This tool is helpful no matter what the circumstance is. Whatever circumstance you find yourself in, you can choose how you show up and how you think and feel and act. You still have a choice, no matter the scenario, no matter how you got there, no matter how horrible it is. Okay, so let's talk about it. Identifying, now the goal here is to identify, am I in personal accountability above the line or am I not below the line? So let's start with below the line and talk about how that looks. So you'll see on the left-hand side below the line right here, um, are you feeling defensive? Are you in a state of fear? Are you closed and contracted? I always think of Wonder Woman, you know, the Wonder Woman stance. I'm a child of the 70s. Loved Wonder Woman. The TV series, not the movie. That's how old I am. Are you closed and contracted? Do you feel like life happens to me? All these things are coming at me and I have no control over it. Um, are you committed to being right? Are you telling stories and listing facts to make yourself right? And hey, you're going to be right. You can make a case for being right in any circumstance. For any situation that you give me, I can make a case for how that's right. Right or wrong is not up for debate here. But are you committed to being right? And that means the other person being wrong, right? And then are you concealing? Concealing means I'm not telling you, I'm not being vulnerable. I'm not telling you what I think. I'm not telling you where I'm at. I'm really hiding. Okay. So that's how it feels to not be accountable. Those are, if you see any of those things popping up, then you know that you're not taking personal accountability for the situation. Now, move over here. You might hear someone who is feeling in this space. You might hear them say, they might be in denial, like this has nothing to do with me. This has absolutely nothing to do with me, this situation. They might be blaming others. It's their fault. This is how they're wrong. They're incompetent. They're mean. They're terrible. They're whatever. It's everybody else's fault. Or you might be the kind of person who blames yourself for everything. Somehow, you're in guilt. What did I do wrong? How did I bring this on me? I should have known better. And then you also may be in wait and hope. Somebody should do something. When is Congress going to step up? Why is George Bush not making a statement like Clinton and Obama did? Somebody else should do something. I'm just going to sit here and I'm going to worry and I'm going to wait and I'm going to hope that things change. Okay. So all of this, you're feeling disempowered. See over here on the right-hand side, you're feeling disempowered. You have no power here. I have no power here. I have no power here to influence this situation in any way. And you want to protect and defend your position. I'm right, you're wrong. Okay. Now, here's personal accountability. So, what might it look like to go above this line? What might that look like? No matter the circumstance, no matter the situation. Okay. So, instead of feeling defensive, could you be curious? I wonder why they're acting that way. I wonder why they made that choice. I think here's a simple example. Being in traffic. Like when I feel like someone is behaving badly in traffic, I used to be like, what an idiot. Why do they act like that? And then I started making it a game like, oh, I wonder if their wife is in labor and they're rushing to the hospital, or oh, they must have had a really bad day. I kind of make a game to think about all of the ways or all of the reasons that might explain their behavior. So getting curious instead of getting defensive. Can you be in a state of trust when you find yourself in a state of fear? So that might look like, I don't know what's going to happen in this scenario, but I trust, no matter what it looks like right now, that this will get us to a better place, that this is for the higher good. Now, sometimes this is a really tough one. When you have a sick kid and they're suffering, it is really hard to get out of fear and to get into a state of trust to believe that this is all happening for a reason. This child is sick because this is an experience that will mold them and shape them into the kind of person that they need to be to grow up and help more people. There are different ways to shift from fear to trust. Those are a couple of examples. If you're feeling closed and contracted, which is below the line, how can you open? How can you be more open? Open to help, open to other ideas, open to different possibilities. What are the ways that you could open? You can just ask yourself that. How can I be more open? If you feel like life is happening to you, all this is coming at me so fast. Why does this always happen? Why do I always find myself in this position? Why do I have all these challenges? Instead, the shift move is life happens by me. I have some control. Yep, this circumstance sucks. I hate it. Bad things happen to good people sometimes. But how can life happen by me? What is the influence that I have? It's not happening to me, it's happening for me. And when you look at it from that perspective, that can help to shift and change things. Okay. Committed to being right below the line here. How can you shift into committed to learning? I have something to learn here. I was having a conversation with my sister and this guy that we met at the rehab center that my mom's in, and my sister said, well, what do you think? We were talking about data centers. It's a hot thing in Indiana right now. We're talking about data centers and going on family farms and what she and I think that is terrible and that we're right, of course. But he mentioned it and she's like, how do you feel about that? What are your thoughts on that? So being committed to learning, where are other people coming from? What's a different perspective? What are they thinking about? Instead of trying to be right and prove your point, how can you be committed to learning something and to looking at the situation in a different light? And then from concealing, when you find yourself concealing, revealing, how can I be vulnerable in this scenario? How can I reveal my thoughts, feelings, emotions, perspectives? Okay. And then let's go over to I want to revisit the learn and grow on the right-hand side, the learn and grow mindset. So above the line of accountability, your focus is learning and growing and feeling empowered. So you can see when you shift above the line, this gets you into this middle section here. This gets you into acknowledging the situation. I am a piece of the puzzle. There is a way I can have an impact and an influence in this situation. It might be with my family, it might be with my friends, it might be on a larger scale, but how can I have an impact in this situation? I am a piece of the puzzle. I am an American. What part can I play? And then accepting ownership, it starts with me. Gandhi's quote, be the change. It starts with me. So, how can I make a positive impact? Finding solutions. This can work. This is how I think it can work for me. Okay. You can't, yeah, this is how I think it can work if Congress does this, if presidents do that, if leaders do that. Not that. We're finding solutions for ourselves. Okay. This can work if I do this. Brainstorming, this is about brainstorming, spitballing, finding solutions. It's hard to find solutions when you're down here. When you're below the line, your brain is not available for creative thinking and to find solutions to problems. Your brain is protecting and defending, concealing, fearful. And when we're there, we can't find solutions. And then taking action, making it happen, renewal, not taking perfect action because a lot of us get stuck because we're like, oh, what if I do it wrong? What if that isn't the right thing? You get out there and you try something and maybe it sucks and maybe it doesn't work. That's okay. You're in a learn and grow mindset. You try the next thing. Okay. It's taking action and learning. And we usually learn from our mistakes, right? Not from everything that we do perfectly. Okay, so I hope this is helpful to get yourself out of protect and defending your position and into learning and growing from being defensive and scared and being unconsciously driven by fear into being curious and in a state of trust so we can loosen our brains to find solutions and where we can have an impact no matter what the situation is, no matter the circumstance. Listen, we're human. We're going to find ourselves in circumstances that suck. We're going to find that a lot. We're not going to like it. But here are some ways that we can deal with whatever circumstance we find ourselves in. Okay. I hope that was helpful. If you need more help, schedule a coaching session with me and we can take your personal situation and we can use this tool and find where you're at. And I can dig deeper into if you're really stuck in this one area, I can share with you some additional tools to help you get unstuck from that area so that you can get above the line. There's a lot of nuance in this. So there are lots of tools to help you get if you find yourself below the line, not being accountable. There's a lot of tools that we can use to get you above the line so that you can feel unstuck and so that you can get into more of a state of trust and curiosity and learning and growing and empowered. Okay. All right. So if that sounds good, schedule a coaching session with me and I would love to help you with that. Hope this is helpful for you guys today. Bye bye.